The Deadlights eyes.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
I'll play again.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Killer Mom.
I'm just gonna bash you in the face.
What's blood for, if not for shedding?
Welcome to 31 Days of Halloween 2021. I am your host, Sam Johnston. And back with me, some Halloween fiends.
Oh, yeah.
Adam and Leslie.
Hello.
Halloween fiends. We are on day 9 of the 31 days, and we just watched Halloween 2 from 1981.
Yeah.
Director Rick Rosenthal, written by Debra Hill and John Carpenter. While Sheriff Brackett and Dr. Loomis hunt for Michael Myers, a traumatized Laurie is rushed to the hospital, and the serial killer is not that far behind.
I don't like that because even the hospital's not safe.
Yeah.
True. It kind of does bring home more fear, or bring fear and horror into places that we want to believe are safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And places that'll save us, save our lives.
Also, if they want to save my life in the hospital, they need more lights.
It was a very dark hospital.
It was very dark
hospital.
There was
Very
no...
dark.
Well, and it's interesting because when you think of hospitals, especially shot for movies, I typically think of the white, fluorescent, intense lights that are just blinding almost sometimes, and everything is white in it. And in this movie, everything was white, but everything was so dark. So many shadows.
So shadowy.
So many dark corners for Michael
to just
Myers to
hide.
hide. Doors. So many doors, too.
Lots of doors.
And he could have been behind any one of them at any time. It was such a... I think it was a really good setting for a horror movie.
Oh, yeah. In the way that, like, it reveals what happens in the first one, it feels like its own movie. It, like, you didn't even have to have a first one. We didn't have to have seen the first one. It felt like its own movie, and like the finding out that there are dead people already just feels like setting up what's going to happen, adding dread to the events that are going to come, and that are going to come, and it like builds up this lore around this character.
He is inevitable. He moves slow, and no matter how fast or how far you go, he is slowly moving towards you. No matter where you are, he is always moving towards you.
It's very dreamlike. It's very terrifying in that way, and that's what made like this sort of hospital setting so freaky as well, because she's in this drugged up state, and having this sort of like hazy, like not quite connected to reality kind of thing. But that's because she's so mortal too. She's like so alive and needs to be kept alive by this place that she's in, and yet there's this monster that like doesn't seem to be alive at all, but like will constantly pursue her if she doesn't keep moving.
The entire film, the law presence didn't want to deal with anything that was going on. Partly maybe because it's hitting close to home. The sheriff's daughter is killed, and that becomes very like personal for him. And I think it's personal for everyone, because it's a small town. Everyone feels close, and there's that scene of them raiding Michael Myers' house.
Yeah.
And Dr. Loomis says it's awake. It's awake for all the victims of Haddonfield tonight.
And it's the only physical thing that they can tear down, because he can't.
They can't find him.
No,
Not at all.
No.
They can't find him. But even if they do, he just falls down and then gets up and continues killing.
They can burn down a house. They can burn down a house.
The house ain't coming back. He is somehow.
Cinematography, very much more thought out as well. There's some really cool things that they're doing with like the cameras that they use to monitor the halls and stuff like that.
Yes.
And like just like comparing what's on one TV versus another TV, or like using that monitor as like a thing that builds tension as well. Like so
very,
cool.
very, 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 very thought out. Also the script. I loved what people were saying. Like one of the neighbors, when the doctor first discovers, shoots Michael, he falls off the window from the top, and then he goes downstairs to not find him on the grass, and he's left, and that's when he realizes that perhaps he can't get killed, and the one neighbor comes out, and he's like, "What's going on out here?" And he's like, "Nothing, get back inside." And he's like, "Well, I've been trick-or-treated to death enough tonight." And the guy's like, "You don't know what death is."
Dun, 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 dun. The idea of suburbs, too, is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because you have no idea what's going on behind people's closed doors. Even gunshots. People are, I think, willing to be ignorant to what's going on in other people's homes because it's this sense of privacy.
It's family matter. Like, we are not going to discuss if your neighbor's husband is beating up the woman again.
Yeah.
What did the woman do? And then they like laugh about it. They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
She's getting beat up again.
Yeah.
So sad.
Right.
No. Call the cops.
We also get that really cool title sequence. Then it does this really cool practical crack open. And we see the skull.
The skull that's in the pumpkin.
For Michael Myers, Halloween is associated with death. So everything that is behind Halloween for him is death, which is exactly what's behind that jack-o'-lantern. A skull. Death. Those first couple tracking shots when he's running through the alleyway and he's seeing trick-or-treaters kind of run around, he's seeing a dog, he seems scared.
Yeah.
He seems like not in control at that moment. He's running away. He sees Loomis. That's when he says he shot him 6 times and in the heart he's not human. And he's hiding. The camera movements feel reserved and feel like he's scared. But it's almost like an animal that's been injured and needs to retreat to regain its strength.
I definitely thought that he was gonna murder.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna murder the old people as well.
Again, he's being reserved.
Yeah, he is reserved in that moment. He just grabs a knife, and then there's another moment that he didn't bump, like when the kid bumped into him at the, what was that, a strip mall or some sort? Yeah, those were the only 2 people that he was like, meh. I'm not gonna
the camera tracked with him after he bumped into that kid too, and he was just among everybody. Everyone was still out in their costumes on Halloween. We were following right behind him, and he didn't kill any of those people. He was, I think that was kind of us seeing his power to be reserved, and that is scary too, because he can blend in. But Laurie shows up to the hospital, and immediately we get a creepo coming along.
Yeah.
I did not like that character. Jimmy was his name? I did not like him.
The ER person?
Yeah, not either of the EMTs.
Yeah, the EMTs.
He was one of the EMTs that was just creeping around her the whole time. He was creeping in there when she was asleep.
Yes.
He was watching her slowly, and he touched her.
Yeah, he touched her. He went like this.
Yeah.
But then that's what made me realize.
Slow.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, there must be something in here that we didn't see in the first movie.
No.
No?
No.
Ew.
Right.
Ew. Okay, now I can say ew because I was like,
he was no established character at all, and his brother, was not an established character at all. There was no setup for this. It was a weird, I wrote down, every time he came onto the screen, I wrote down invasive. It just kind of felt like he was really invading this space, and this is a hospital worker. All these hospital workers felt super inept. Yeah. They felt super unqualified to be doing these jobs.
Except for that head nurse woman. Who was the one who came into the room and was like, "You get out." No, what are you doing in here? Get out of here.
That guy and the other EMT,
Bud.
Yeah.
They were in
worst.
the break room.
Yeah.
And they're talking. That girl tells him that he is awful. He's an asshole. Leaves. And then this other kid is thinking about is Laurie. And he was like, would you have liked if somebody locked you up like that? It's like, what? We're in a hospital, first of all. And then they start talking about how the other guy was like, no, man, like, you shouldn't mess with patients.
Yeah.
Don't mess with the patient. Nurses are one thing, but never mess with the patient.
I think the movie at the time was playing it where he was the only one caring about her. And like actually like trying to like there being some romance between the two of them or something between the two of them because she looked at him all dreamily, but she was drugged up and just like, yeah, I don't know.
That's another thing is from the top, when she arrives at the hospital, she continually says, don't put me to sleep. Don't put me to sleep. And again, this feels like a moment of being invasive where that head drunk doctor makes the decision for her. No, we're putting you to sleep. He puts a needle in her arm.
Yep.
I think that this kind of brings us, though, to our first major kill, which is that security guard. Which starts off this kind of play with security cameras. Because they were doing that a lot. You're right. They kept cutting back to security cameras, shooting security cameras, people moving through security cameras. And it felt almost like when we were looking at the security cameras, we could see less than what we actually could see if we were actually had a shot of it.
One angle.
One angle. It felt like Michael Myers was able to hide more when we were looking at the security cameras. The security guard death brought back a motif that we have seen a couple times, which I thought was very interesting. He kind of gets faked out in the dumpster by hearing a noise and seeing blood, and then a cat jumps out of the dumpster.
I counted that jump scare. Literally. 3, 2, 1. Cat! Omen!
Yep, and definitely wasn't Omen, because he ends up... What ends up... Oh, well, he gets hammered.
He gets claw hammered.
Claw hammered, which, again, we saw yesterday, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
The law enforcement got claw hammered. It's kind of this image of a gavel.
Oh,
very law.
Oh,
that was my thought.
That's good.
Gavel-esque, bringing down the hammer of the law onto their heads. Ow. They're driving around. They see Michael Myers walking. Dr. Loomis is very gun happy.
Yeah.
He just brings out the gun right away. He's like, "Hey, stop!
Yeah.
Get over here!" And then this poor guy who...
Kid, I think he's like
he's
17.
a kid. Yeah, no, he's actually mentioned in the first movie too as just another kid that actually likes Laurie.
Oh.
And they make this weird connection that he's the one that died. Anyway, it's
weird.
Yeah,
weird.
But yeah, he's a kid,
and he's like super drunk, and that's why he's just kind of like walking.
That's why he's
weirdly.
acting weird.
Yeah, he like came out of nowhere because a cop hit him by accident.
Oh my god!
And then the cop. So Dr. Loomis is waving a gun at this kid. And then out of nowhere, another cop just comes in and slams him into a truck, and then it blows up and goes into flames.
Yeah, but the driver, that cop, survives.
Yep.
And was like, "I'm sorry, you came out of nowhere."
Shit. What?
And then they were like, "Hooray! Yes, it's Michael Myers."
Everyone was very quick to accept that's Michael Myers.
Except for the psychologist who was like, "Was that him? Was it him? Was that him?"
He doesn't die. He doesn't die. And everybody's like, "Oh, shut up. We killed him."
Yeah.
Bud just being more of just gross. I mean, he's just gross through the whole movie.
He's disgusting.
And I just don't understand why anyone wants to be around him even.
Yeah.
No. Especially her.
Yeah.
Right?
She's above him.
He pretends to be a patient, like buzzes her in, and then like grabs her and pulls her into a bed with him, and that's gross. And then and then when he convinces her to have sex with him in the therapy hot tub, he was like being very voyeuristic, like through the window, like she's like undressing, you can see her undressing, but it's like through this like glass, and then he's like watching her like
He like even fools on turns around. And he's like, "Oh."
Like, if you know you're gonna have sex with this person, why are you still going?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because he's viewing her very creepily and voyeuristically.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched Michael Myers do that this entire film.
Yeah,
We've been in his POV this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like this character. We do not like the audience. Even at this time, does not like this character. He's set up to be disliked.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, he almost becomes similar to Michael Myers, where he's just watching her as a piece of meat.
Yeah.
Just like Michael Myers is watching all these victims as pieces of meat for the slaughter. That moment was kind of interesting to me because it kind of felt like Michael Myers was letting her do this for a little bit. Why wouldn't, if he's this kind of like single-minded shark-like being, why wouldn't he immediately walk into that room and kill her?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed out of his character at that moment. Or maybe it isn't. Maybe that is a human trying to attempt at some sort of view at his human side because he is attracted to women or whatever.
He definitely takes his time killing women, because that's his MO is to kill women, killing his sister, and he like spends time and gets creative killing women and gets more iconic killing women as well.
He's like this like smart predator that's going around this hospital, hiding in dark corners, separating people when he needs them to be separated. Luring people, like when the nurse was looking for the doctor that needed to respond to Laurie not reacting to drugs. He set up a trap for her.
Yeah.
He set up the doctor in his chair for her to find him.
Turned it away.
Turned around. Needle in the eye.
And that was another foreshadowing. Because then he did the same thing to her.
Did the same thing. She backs up and he's suddenly behind her. Mm-hmm. And he needles her straight in the head.
He opens it up first before, and he throws the needle in there, and he's putting air in her head,
which is not good.
Yeah, which is like
she's kind of an airhead. She was kind of the airhead.
She was kind of the airhead.
Oh,
sorry.
Unlike the other like monsters behind masks, you don't see his eyes. You know, you don't see his eyes.
You kind of do.
You do sometimes, but they don't there's a lot of it where you just see the mask.
Very heavy shadows on his eyes.
Very heavy shadows on his eyes. Yeah. So they're like that mask almost like the way he's lit up so often it implies that there's no human back behind there.
Eventually Laurie does get up though.
She gets up. I was surprised. I felt fooled by the movie.
Up until this point she's just been pretty much just a catatonic kind of people literally taking her from place to place, just nothing character. Mm-hmm. That's what I kind of thought too. I was like, man, she's just like not doing anything.
Yeah, she's just done. Right. But then she wasn't. She wasn't. She gets away.
She's back up, and we're kind of seeing through her POV, which establishes that she's kind of seeing the world in this like kind of warped dream world. Mm-hmm. And that's when she first sees Michael Myers kill Nurse Jill, I think.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The scalpel lift.
Oh my god.
Scalpel lift. Wild.
Scalpel lift.
Dang.
Yeah. I was like waiting for it to split in two because of that. All of these characters, a lot of them are wearing white to just symbolize, I guess, the purity of them. They're people who are helping other people, yet they cannot do anything for you.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like this fake out that the movie's doing, where the people in white you would normally associate with angelic, pure people that can save you or help you, but these people are not those people at all. No one in that hospital helped anybody else really at all. Laurie gets out on her own accord. She gets out by faking out those people that are supposed to protect you by being in that catatonic state, and then she goes off onto her own adventure. So Dr. Loomis and the sheriff finally fucking figure out that Laurie is Michael Myers' sister, and they're like, "What?
Turn around this car."
He's like, "Why didn't you tell me that? What the fuck?" And
he has to force this guy to go back by holding a gun to his head, and the guy's like, what are you gonna? What am I supposed to do here? What do you want me to do?
Turn this car
And
around.
he's like, well, I can't do that. And then he's like, well, what do you guys usually do? A warning shot?
Yeah,
And then the guy
shoots out
goes,
the window. Yeah, just straight up donuts it around.
Yep.
Amazing. And they finally arrive to the hospital, and Michael Myers, man, he does a great entrance into the hospital too.
My God.
Just he's outside the hospital and he just, I'm coming in too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very Terminator as
Yeah.
well.
Very Terminator. Then it kind of becomes this showdown between Michael Myers, Loomis, and Laurie.
So Loomis has 2 guns. One he gives
Oh, right.
Laurie, one
He has
he
2
has.
guns.
He holds his gun up to Michael Myers' head. Click, click, click. Doesn't go off.
Mhm.
Either there's no ammo in there or it jams or something like that. Then he stabs Loomis. Loomis falls into a bunch of tanks. And then Laurie's like, oh no. And she says, Michael. And he like stops and it does this incredible thing that I've only seen in like no theater where he tilts his head like that and the shadows playing across his mask all change to give a different expression to the mask. He's not changing his face at all. He's just playing with the light on the shadows of his face. So cool. He like, you can read so much into him when you see that change in expression like that.
And also that expression is very like either childlike, you taking things in, like a little kid does that. We do that when I do that a lot when I'm like listening because I want to take in information. But then also dogs do that whenever they don't understand something. They're like, huh? So he didn't understand it.
It was the most human he seemed.
Yeah.
Through the whole movie was right there. And then he kept coming at her, and she shoots him in the eye.
The eyes.
The eyes. Bullets go into his brain.
And then he's crying
And
blood.
he's crying blood. He's still...
He's still going.
Still going.
Still going.
Still going. That's insane. That's insane.
That's insane.
Freaking strive. I want to have that kind of strive for something.
Yeah.
You know?
He has that drive. He has that. He wants it that bad.
He does. He does.
And he's still going for it. And then Laurie and Loomis are kind of working together to get him distracted by all these oxygen tanks being let loose in this.
Yeah.
He can't see.
Even though they're whimpering, going...
Yeah. And then clink, clink, clink.
Oh, it must be it can't be the...
Yeah, and what did Michael Myers think was going on? What did he think those... I gotta go towards those snakes?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I have to go towards it?
Yeah, it was a really bad and dangerous Marco Polo.
Really bad.
Not one that I ever want to play.
I will definitely not play that one.
No.
I'll play it.
Yeah?
Good luck.
Okay.
But you might end up like Dr. Loomis and
That's true.
Michael Myers in
That's
this,
true.
which is what happens is Laurie gets out of there, but Loomis, Michael, I can't remember what he says actually.
It's time, Michael.
It's time, Michael.
Explosion!
Gone. Gone. Walking out of
Terminator.
a wall of fire, Michael Myers comes and he makes his last ditch effort, but he does ultimately
He
Dies.
succumbs.
But it is this kind of idea of he will never stop.
Yeah.
He won't
Nothing.
stop.
Yeah.
You can't trust anything.
No element, no guns, no doors. He will come and get you.
Laurie, in that last moment, her look to me says this isn't over.
Yeah.
To me, she's not happy. She's not peaceful that he's dead.
She will never be safe.
No.
She will never.
Oh, when they're like
ever be safe.
driving away, yeah. She was like,
That last moment, the last shot of her is just so stoic, and then the last thing that we see is Michael Myers burning. I was waiting for him to kind of move a little bit.
Yeah.
He
but
probably
then
will though.
You just keep hearing.
Bum, bum. Yep. Then we get the Sandman back. I forgot how contained this movie was too.
Yeah.
Where you can watch it without having seen the first one.
Yep.
Which was cool for you two to see without having to see the first one. The first one still is good, so
it is.
Y'all should check it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll look for it.
Day 9, Halloween 2. Leslie and Adam, thank you so much for coming back again.
Thank you for having
Plug
us.
yourself.
Mhm.
Plug yourself, please.
Again, check out the podcast, season 3, episode 4. It's television. It's that episode of television. It's a good time where you can find podcasts.
Yeah. Color me Leslie. I haven't seen any of my numbers go up, so
What the
you're
heck,
not following
people?
me. Just kidding. I'm boring. I like post once a month or whatever.
Clearly
So,
you're boring.
I'm
That's why we
so
keep having you
boring.
back. Yeah. Duh.
I mean, color me Leslie.
And you can find me at Beep Beep Richie T on Instagram, and also check out Playground Social, which is the studio that we're shooting this at.
We are here right now.
We're here right now, and we will be
Sure,
back again tomorrow for another one. Let's get spooky, y'all.
Yeah.
Ooh.